glad I remembered that before we got through the whole session. Okay, this is the Zoom session for Math 1113, March 5th. We have a participant this morning who was asked about problem 77 on page 520. And the function is given to be this, and the problem is to decide if that's an even function, an odd function, or a neither function. And so I'm doing this with numbers rather than graphs because they haven't shown you the graphs. And what you can do is pick any number and you plug it in. So she picked 2, and so I plugged in 2 and I punched it out to this. And you can be in degree mode, radian mode, doesn't matter. It works the same thing. Then what you do, whatever number you pick, you plug in the negative of it, in effect, the opposite of it, and you compute that out. And here's the 3 cases that can happen. If you get exactly the same number, that's an even case, which means f of 2 is a number, plug in -2, get exactly the same number, you have an even case. If you get negative of the same number, so if this had come out negative 7.58, that's your odd case because your f of 2 is negative, what you get when you have f of -2. Neither of those things happened here. You got a completely different number. That makes it a neither case. Okay, appreciate your patience for that. Now we're on the recording. Can we ask, do you have anything else you want to ask about?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Well, don't feel obligated to hang around if you got other things to do.
All right. Well, thank you for your help this morning, sir.
Sure thing. Absolutely. And you have a good day.
You too.
Huh? Okay, we're going to just work through some problems then. Page 519, I think I did 5A. This is 6.2, page 519. I think I'll just jump to 7A. Find the exact value, sine pi over 4. It's going to be something root 2 over 2 because it's on some sort of pi over 4, but is it positive? Is it negative? That's determined by what quadrant 11 pi over 4 is. I want to find this, find the exact value. Well, like you say, 0 here, pi here is 4 pi over 4. So you're going to add 4 pi over 4 every time you go around. So you're back to 8 pi over 4. So to get to 11 pi over 4, that's another 3 pi over 4. You're up here. 11 pi over 4. So this difference is 3 pi over 4. 8 pi over 4 to get to 11 pi over 4. And that's going to put you into the second quadrant. Coordinates there are x negative root 2 over 2, y positive root 2 over 2, but sine is this y coordinate. Answer, sine 11 pi over 4 is root 2 over 2. That's pretty clumsy. Square root of 2 over 2. Again, your calculator, you need to be in radian mode. Radian mode, which I believe I am. Yep. Okay, and your calculator will give you the decimal sine of 11 pi divided by 4, 7071. And if I punch square root of 2, divide by 2, half the square root of 2 in effect. Yep, same thing. 2 over 2 is equal to 0.7071. You can check these on a calculator, but the book wants you the exact value of root 2s and 3s, and they're half or root 3 over 3, or whatever it is. How about a strange one off? Yeah, how about 17? Part A. Cosecant of 7 pi over 6. Well, everybody know where 7 pi over 6 is? 6 pi over 6. 7 pi over 6 would be down here. 1 pi over 6 bigger. 7 pi over 6. Coordinates, long side negative root 3 over 2, and your short side's negative a half. And your cosecant is, in effect, 1 over the y coordinate, 1 over sine. You're going 1 over negative 1/2. That would flip around and become negative 2. Answer. Cosecant of 7 pi over 6 is equal to negative 2. Well, that's pretty easy to come up with. I basically would go 1 divided by sine 7 divided by 6. If we don't come up negative 2, I'll quit on the spot. Negative 2. All right, how about a secant of negative pi over 6? 17b secant negative pi over 6. Well, that would back down into the fourth quadrant, minus pi over 6. Again, that's 30 degrees, so you would be at positive root 3 over 2, negative 1/2. But we want 1 over the x coordinate. So answer, secant of negative pi over 6 is equal to 1 over root 3 over 2. This being the x coordinate, which would be flip around to 2 over root 3. Rationalize, and you'd be at 2 root 3 divided by 3. Again, I could get decimals for this, decimals for that. They'll be the same thing. About 17 part C, and we're on page 519 here for this. A cotangent, negative 5 pi over 6. All right. Negative 6 pi over 6 back that way, so negative 5 pi over 6 is pi over 6 short. And once again, coordinates there, negative root 3 over 2 and negative 1/2. And your cotangent is tangent's y over x. Cotangent is then x over y. The answer here, cotangent of negative 5 pi over 6 is equal to your x, negative root 3 over 2 over your y. We can make it positive because the two negatives divide out. So that's root 3 over 2 times 2 over 1, and that will be equal to the square root of 3. Questions about that? All right. Why don't we skip down to the next section? I think I did 23. Find the value, use your answers to complete the table. So having you complete the table, why don't we do t equals 25? It's still page 519, 25. T equals pi. And find your 6 trig functions. Locate pi, coordinate of negative 1, 0. List them in the table. Sine of pi, 0. That's your y coordinate. That's x, that's y. Yeah. Okay, so the sine of pi is 0, the y coordinate. The cosine of pi is negative 1, the x coordinate. Tangent of pi, sine of pi over cosine pi, 0 over negative 1, that'll be 0. The cosecant of pi will be undefined. Your secant of pi will be -1. 1 over -1 still -1. And your cotangent of pi will also be undefined. 1 over 0, 1 over 0. Can't divide by 0. It's undefined. All right, do a few more. 27, 29 through 35 is pretty straightforward. 27, page 519. Have -3/5 and -4/5. They're just asking for the first three. Sine of t is just your -4/5, your y-coordinate. Cosine of t, x-coordinate, -3/5. And your tangent of t is your -4/5, your y over your x, your sine over your cosine, over -3/5. -4/5, and flip the -3/5 to -5/3. Fives cancel, and you're at +4/3. You're in the third quadrant. With x negative, y negative, you're in the third quadrant, positive tangent. Let's see, further on down. How about one like 51? Your cosecant of t greater than 0, and your secant of t less than 0. This means 1 over y is greater than 0, positive, so y is positive. And your 1 over your x is negative, and so your x is negative. I want you to find the quadrant. Well, if you've got x negative and y positive, x negative, y positive, quadrant 2. Quadrant 2. All right. We'll try a few others. How about one like 65? Secant of t equals 3, terminal point, quadrant 4. This means cosine of t is 1/3. Find all 6 trig, doesn't say all 6, but values of the trig function. So there's 6 of them. Find all 6 trig values. Well, you could do it from a unit circle with a cosine of 1/3, radius of 1. Then you'd have nasty fractions. So I just prefer to do it from, you're in quadrant 4. Cosine is 1 over 3, adjacent over hypotenuse. And you tell you're going to be 1 squared plus y squared plus y equals 3 squared. 9 minus 1, y squared would be 8. So y is going to be -√8. You could go plus or minus square root of 8, but then in the fourth quadrant, y is equal to negative square root of 8. So your sine of t, negative square root of 8 over 3. Cosine of t, that's easy. That was given. -1/3. Tangent t is -√8 over 3 times 3 over 1. Instead of dividing by 1/3, you're multiplying by that flip. It's -√8. Secant t is 3 over -√8. I'm not going to rationalize it. Your secant t is 3. That was given. And your cotangent of t, 1 over negative square root of 8. Bother to rationalize it. And I won't do a true or false. If you do this and you do a rationalize, one true, one, I'm not going to play those games. Don't thank me all at once. And let's finally do even or odd. How about 73? This is where we started this Zoom session. F of x, let's say sine x, cosine x. Determine even, odd, neither. And again, you can pick any number, degree mode, radio mode. The exact first number makes no difference. Pick any number. I'll use 10. And the degree mode, radio mode, doesn't matter. It works for anything. You need that number, and then you're going to need the negative of that number. Whatever number you pick, you need its positive and its negative. It's opposite. It's negative. So I need f of 10, sine 10, cosine 10. Cosine 10. 0.4564. Now do f of negative 10. Sine of negative 10, cosine of negative 10. Sine negative 10, cosine negative 10. And I get negative 0.4564. Conclusion, f of x is odd. These are negatives of each other. If they come out exactly the same, it's even. Both 4564, 4564, that's even. If neither of those things happen, if you don't get the exact same thing to be even, if you don't get negatives of each other, so the number's the same, but they're opposite sign, that's odd. Neither of those things happen, it's neither. That to me is the easiest way to determine it's. You could also look at a graph if you know about graphs, but they have not shown you the graphs. So I don't like to jump ahead to that when they haven't shown that. I could try another one. If you don't know how to punch your absolute value, 75. F of x is absolute value of x cosine x. Determine even, odd, neither. I'll use 10 again. I'll use 10 again. F of 10, absolute value of 10, cosine 10. All right. If you don't want to punch absolute value, it's a little hard to find. If you come up here, if you go to math, and over to num. Okay, and hit enter on 1. Okay, this is a very old calculator. It's using this ABS. The new ones will actually give you bars, but it's in the same spot. It'll give you straight bars just like this, or like this. And it'll look on the screen exactly like you'd write it. But this is an old calculator. 10 cosine 10. Negative 8.39. All right, f of negative 10. Negative 10, cosine negative 10. Math, num, number 1, negative 10, cosine negative 10. Negative 8.39. Okay, don't let the fact they're both negative throw you. These are the same. They're equal. Conclusion. F of x equals absolute value of x cosine x is even. So yeah, they can be both positive. If they come out both positive, that's great. If they come out both negative, it's the fact that they're equal. Makes them even. If one of those negatives is missing, that would have made it odd. If neither of those things happen, it's neither. All right, well, that's examples of all the problems for this week. My guess is I will be taking my son to school all next week. He's back in real school, so that kind of destroys the 8 o'clock Zoom. So I'll probably be delaying the Zoom sessions till 10. Maybe from now on, at least next week, and we'll see how it goes. All right, we will look for a quiz today, and we will see you next week. Thank you very much.